Yes, the Houston Land Bank is a government nonprofit, but we also are a 501(c)(3 that serves the community by activating vacant abandoned land and finding a solution most appropriate for that neighborhood. Predominantly, we focus on affordable housing by providing our land at a discount to local builders so they can pass on that savings to an income eligible home buyer. 8-year-old version of Krista was a little bit shy and an introvert, was in the house drawing and dreaming. I do think that just that freeness of being able to try something new still very much lives within me, of being a colorful person. And what I've learned and really reflected on, especially recently, is being the only one is a strength. And that's how I used to feel as a little girl. But what I didn't know is I'm very much the only one because my name actually means chosen one as well. So I am originally from California, from the Bay Area. I grew up in a city called Dublin, California, which is just outside of Oakland, San Francisco. My bigger family lives in Oakland, West Oakland, and Fillmore Street in San Francisco. But my parents wanted to be sure that I had a good education and opportunity. So we moved to the suburbs. We were probably one of the first Black families in that neighborhood. And although I didn't necessarily feel racism, I did feel different. I could tell that I didn't necessarily fit into the traditional suburban neighborhoods, but also when I would go see my cousins and we're around other kids on the street, I didn't necessarily fit in there either. So me trying to find my way and find my space ended with me going to Prairie View A&M University. I wanted to go to HBCU so I could really just be around people who looked like me, who felt like me, and me just kind of figure out what I wanted to do. And then I ended up in architecture just off a hunch of me having the skill set of being able to draw and be creative. I thought that that could be the right fit. But when I really started to understand just literally walking the steps of a former slave plantation, the importance of land, and just literally walking in the footsteps of people who died for me to be here, gave me a different level of um, honor and remembrance and responsibility of when I'm stepping into spaces. So eventually, saying that community development is for me wanting to be in real estate is for me, but knowing that it's also dominated by a white male industry, just really, in a sense, helped me reconnect back to when I was the only one in my class that was Black, the only one that was a Black female, but also still being able to represent myself. I still was very much a social butterfly. I was well liked, I was respected. I invested the time to make sure that I was smart, but also that I was authentic in who I was and not necessarily trying to fit in to a box that wasn't created for me. I decided to create my own, but also be sure that I'm inviting others into that process, into that fold. And I've been very much invested by all types of people, Black women, Black men, and white women too, because I've learned that one of my superpowers is vulnerability and being able to just be honest about who I am and invites other people to also be honest about who they are as well. I believe community is in my DNA. My grandfather is actually was born in Third Ward on Alabama Street. Eventually migrated to San Francisco and became the first Black dentist in San Francisco and began to purchase real estate for my family so we could have generational wealth building opportunities and buying apartment buildings and whatnot. But also hearing the stories of how sometimes he gave apartments to single moms or people who needed shelter, which is one of our basic needs. But also, as I understood more about the history of my family, the history of our culture, the history of our people and of the nation, and how decisions were made to exclude us, um, which were very hateful things. But I think the best way to combat hate is with love, and I think that you can still be very much empathetic as you're still being a business person when it comes to the decisions that you make, because I want to bring human elements back into real estate. We've been able to make some major milestones here. Just even becoming a 501(c)(3 is a major milestone. We're the only organization in Houston that's both governmental and nonprofit that serves the entire city limits. And we also expanded into Harris County. We've also secured the largest grant in EPA's history in terms of a cleanup grant, which was $5 million for our region. We've been able to just really accelerate how we do our work outside of just the traditional scattered sites that we're historically known for selling lots for $1. Now we're master planning communities. We're creating a catalog of floor plans that will also be energy efficient and resilient as well. But I would say the proudest moment for me personally is really just me being brave enough to go for this role, being the youngest CEO in the country to lead a land bank and really just trusting and betting on myself in order to step into something that was new and unknown and still lead with just the attempt of humility of just knowing that I'm making decisions for people who may never even know my name. My vision for the land bank is to serve as a regional land bank. I seek for us to expand the greater Houston area, which to me encompasses Galveston, Fort Bend, Chambers, Waller, just really the residents of Houston and just regular Houstonians shouldn't know the boundaries of where the county lines draw when it comes to affordable housing opportunities. So I seek to partner with other government entities at the county levels, but also at the local level, whether it's the city or metro, HISD, other government entities. That's why we were created as a government nonprofit to partner with government to be their community development arm, because it's not a function of traditional um, organizations when it comes to public service. And that's really what our subject matter expertise is. And that's why we were created, to partner with everybody to bring the solution best in alignment for the neighborhood's goals.